let's do a little exercise to see if we understand the purposes, the different functions of transitional words and phrases. What can we use transitional words and phrases to do? We can use them to do so much. We can use them to show contrast, addition, illustration, comparison, consequence, certainty, and up here, signal time, blah, 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 all of this stuff. So, what we'll do in this exercise is we're going to be figuring out what each transitional word or phrase is actually doing. So let's read the instructions. Circle the letter that correctly identifies the nature of the underlying transition in each of the following sentences. The nature just means what it's doing. What type of transitional is it? So we're at number one. A water main downtown broke this morning. So several businesses had no water for hours. So we have the so here. What is the so doing? Is the so adding something? Are we seeing addition? Is it showing time? Is it comparing? Or is it showing cause and effect? Guys, we're not even joking. We're moving today. All right, Robin Hood is ready. Robin Hood is always ready. Robin Hood says cause and effect. And Nez agrees. Welcome, Nez. Thank you for being here. Nez agrees. If you see me looking in this direction, I'm just looking at the chat. The chat is here. You are here. The screen I'm sharing is there. The screen I'm writing on is here. So I'm looking all over the place, but just believe me, I'm focused. I'm focused, guys. My mind isn't anywhere but here. Yeah. All right, let's run it. The so here is, of course, cause and effect, right? It's showing that because the water main broke down, several businesses had no water. What's the cause? The water main broke down. What is the effect of that cause? Several businesses had no water. And how do we show that relationship? By using so. And of course, we didn't have to use so. We could use any of the transitions that show consequence. We could use therefore. We could use because. Of course, we would have to put because at the beginning of the sentence or something like that. We could use hence as a result. So you just want to use whichever one feels most appropriate in the moment. And of course, if you're writing an essay, you don't want to be using the same transitional over and over again. So it's good to know at least a couple transitions for each purpose. All right, number two. Even though most Americans are primarily concerned about AIDS as it exists in the US, it should be remembered that it is now nearly a worldwide disease. So we're at number two. What is the transition even though doing in the sentence? Robin Hood says addition. What's being added to what? Oh my gosh. Officially Diva says addition as well. All right. Let me help you guys out. I'm going to break up the sentence into two sentences and then you tell me how the sentences are connected. So we have two sentences here. Most Americans are primarily concerned about AIDS as it exists in the US, right? How does that sentence compare or relate to the next sentence that's being connected to it? It should be remembered. This is a hint. It should be remembered. This is kind of indicating something to the effect of, however, don't forget. Nevertheless, it should be remembered that it is now nearly a worldwide disease. So we see the Americans, they are concerned about AIDS as it exists in the US. In the US. But we want to remember that AIDS is now nearly a worldwide disease. So what's the idea? What's the idea? There's a contrast here between how the Americans think about AIDS as a US problem and the reality that AIDS is not just a US problem, but almost a worldwide problem. So when you look at these two ideas that are being linked, the relationship is while the Americans think it's just about America, the reality is different. The reality is a very different one. And we have that little hint in it should be remembered, right? So there's quite a bit of a contrast coming out here. Quite a bit of a contrast. Tricky one? A little tricky? No problem. We like tricky questions here. Let's try number three. Larry will probably be a late bloomer socially, just like his older brothers. What is the just like doing? So we are at number three. Comparison. Yes, we are comparing, right? Just like his older brothers, we're looking at two different elements or things, and we're seeing something similar between them. Easy one. Number four. There are ways you can make boring tasks more pleasant. For instance, bring a portable radio and listen to music on the earphones while you work. Number four. Robin Hood, you're quick. We're quick with this one. All right, so there are ways, and here we have an example of one of the ways. So it's just an example or illustration. All right, number 5, the lazy checkout clerk forced the 6-pack of cola into the bottom of the bag, tearing it. Then she shrugged her shoulders and said, I guess you'll have to carry the bag from the bottom. Oh, what a rude staff. So number 5, what are we doing here? Number 5, time, right? Number 5, time. This happened, and we could also say sequence if that were an option. One thing happened, one thing happened afterwards. Just showing that A came before B or B came after A. All right, pretty good, pretty good. Let's continue. We have 5 more. Science fiction writer, this person, correctly predicted that satellites would be used for communication. Moreover, in 1947, he correctly predicted that 1959 would be the year the first rocket to the moon was launched. So the moreover, what is it doing? We're at number 6. All right, I'm seeing some additions in the chat. Yeah, definitely. So he made one particular prediction, and we're adding that he made another prediction. So moreover is adding one idea to the next. Number 7, some people in New Jersey built their houses very close to the shoreline. Consequently, they have had to spend a lot of money trying to protect their property from the sea. Lucky number 7, what's happening with the consequently here? All right, I'm seeing the answers are getting faster. We see cause and effect there. We see D, cause and effect. Ashley, A. Oh, D. Oh, you had me sweating for a moment there. Not Rehana. Welcome, not Rehana. I know who you are not, but who are you? Georgia says cause and effect. And yeah, we're showing the consequence of something. It's all in the word, right? So because something happened, something else happened. So definitely we're seeing a cause and effect relationship. All right. Running can make people more aware of their physical surroundings, such as the scent of honeysuckle or the changing moods of the trees. What is the such as doing in number 8? Ashley says C, Robin Hood, following up illustration or example. Yeah, so this is just one of the elements of the physical environment that we can be aware of. So it's definitely giving us an example. Such as, for example, yeah, residents complain bitterly about potholes in the streets and sloppy trash pickup. Yet these same people resist paying higher taxes for the improvement of these services. Ashley says B, not Rihanna. What are you? What question are you answering? You have your contrast. So we have here the residents complain about the potholes. They are complaining about the problems on one hand, and on the other hand, they don't want to pay for the problems to be solved. So definitely there's a contrast here. There's like a very ironic kind of contrast. You see opposites in the mindset. They want it to be solved, but they don't want to pay for it to be solved. Contrast. Last one in this activity here, telephone interviewing allows for a large number of responses in a short time and at relatively low cost. Moreover, the method permits interviewers to reach respondents at specific times of day. This is an important consideration in the study of radio and TV listening habits. All right, you guys are rapid in the chat. We're definitely adding something here, right? We see that telephone interviewing allows for blah, blah, blah. And we're seeing more things that telephone interviewing allows for. So based on your responses, I think we can identify what the transitional word or phrase is doing. Why is this important? How does it relate to CSEC English A? Well, when you have, let's say, your summary, for example, and you read that passage, it's like 3-4 paragraphs, maybe 400 words. You want to know how the ideas connect in your summary passage. You want to know whether something is being added to another idea, whether you're seeing two opposites side by side, whether you're seeing some contradictions or you're seeing some support. How can you tell the connections between the ideas, between the sentences, between the paragraphs? Look for the connectives, right? If you're seeing many connectives, like for instance, to illustrate, for example, then you know that a particular idea is being supported by many examples. If you see something like in contrast, however, on the other hand, you know that whatever idea you just read, you're going to see the opposite idea coming through in the next paragraph or the next sentence. So as Berkeley Academy puts it, comprehension skills. You can better understand a passage if you know how the ideas connect to one another, if you know the relationship between the ideas. right? And of course, it helps with your own writing because if you want your ideas to flow smoothly, you need to connect your points with transitions. All right, we're going to move on. We're not wasting time today. That's one thing we're not doing. We have another exercise we're going to run through right now. This time, we're going to circle. I want you guys to follow me. Follow me. Don't get left behind. You're moving speedily, but follow along. Circle the letter of the word that correctly identifies the appropriate transition. So at first, we were looking at what the transition type was or what the transition was doing. Now we're going to find what the transition should be. We're going to identify the appropriate transition, and then we're going to add to that and underline the kind of transition that you have used. All right. So first, we're going to choose A, B, or C. Which transition goes here? And transition sounds strange when it comes at the beginning of a sentence, but it's still a transition anyway because you're still linking two thoughts or two ideas. So we're going to choose A, B, or C, and also we're going to identify what the transition is doing. So for each number, you're going to give me two answers. You're going to give me an ABC answer, and you're going to give me what type of transition you think it is. So we're at number 1. Let me see if you guys are really following. Number 1, I see some C's. I'm seeing some C's, but you guys aren't telling me what type of transition it is. Is it addition? Is it cause and effect? Or is it time? So it's a two-part question. These are two-part questions. Ashley says time. Yeah, this is how I want the answers. 1C time. That's a clear answer. All right, definitely we need before here because nevertheless and because just don't make any sense, right? Before the invention of the television, we're showing time. We're showing that one thing happened and then another thing happened. One thing happened before something else. All right, number 2, ABC, and then the type of transition. We're at number 2. So you can give me an answer like this. 1C time. That's the way to answer. All right, for 2, see, for instance, illustration, A, illustration, A, illustration. If you're having company for dinner, try to get as much done in advance as possible. And now we're going to get an example of what you can get done or an example of how you can get as much done as possible. And we have for instance. We could also have something like for example, right? For instance, set the table the day before. So it's A, and this is definitely giving us an example. All right, cool. Let's go to number 3. Robin Hood says, even though contrast, see C contrast. What if the correct answer were B? That would be a wicked boyfriend, right? Because I'm very allergic to flowers, like he's definitely setting you up for failure right there. However, the likely answer is C, even though, right? Even though, and this is a contrast because we're seeing a contrast between what is happening and what would have been expected, right? All right, cool. Let's touch on 4. All right, number 4 is too easy. Let's not waste any time on it. This is just a simple simile as, and we're comparing you to the long-tailed cat, so it's a comparison. Pretty easy. All right, number 5. Because Manny's car stereo was on full blast, I could see his lips moving, but I had no idea what he was saying. Cause and effect. The cause is the stereo was on full blast. The effect, I couldn't hear what he was saying. All right, here we are. Another task. We're going to underline the cause or effect transitional word or phrase in each sentence. So in each sentence, there's a cause or effect, or sometimes we say cause and effect transition. We have one of those in each sentence. Let's just identify it. This should be super easy because we've been doing harder things. We only have 10 of these. So number 1, where is the transition showing cause / effect? We took the ferry because the children hadn't traveled in one before. This is easy. Elementary school stuff, super easy. All right, easy. Because number 2, Martin needed help with math and physics, so we got him an expert tutor. Very good. 3, we went to the beach since it was sunny and bright. Yeah, since the school remained closed for 2 days due to snow. Yeah, due to. 5, we ordered food as we were too tired to cook. As. 6, the discussion is not yet over, and therefore Dad will be late for lunch. Therefore. 7, there was no money in the account. Consequently, the transaction failed. Consequently. Number 8, Mr. Carter was widely traveled. As a result, it was fun listening to him. As a result. 9, there are fewer students this year. Thus, there will be fewer buses. Thus, the cost of flying abroad has risen sharply. Accordingly, we are not traveling this year. All right, there we go. Perfect answers. Based on the chat, this was super easy. You guys were quick and accurate. All right, we have some more. This time, we're going to choose the correct transitional word or phrase. We're going to be making sure that we are finding the better option here. All right, here we are. Number one, no breaks, no rest for the wicked. Number one, we have a mouse in the house. Dash, we should get a cat. Easy stuff, easy stuff. We have some hard activities later on, but this is easy for right now. Which transition is showing the correct relationship between these sentences? Yeah, therefore, nice. Number two, Megan got into a car accident. Furthermore, slash as a result, her insurance rate increased. All right, number two, yeah, as a result, yeah, when you get into accidents, your insurance rate increases because you're a higher risk for the insurance agency. All right, number three, Michael is very athletic and plays on the school basketball team. Blank, his brother just stays at home and plays video games all day. Oh man, you guys are at number four already. Man, seems I'm the one lagging behind. All right, we see the contrast between these two. One brother doing one thing, the other brother doing the opposite. So we have, however, number four, you guys have, for example, there are many occupations, and we have many examples of these applications, of these occupations, and both of these transitions do the same thing, but grammatically speaking, we need, for example, yeah, if we were to use such as, there are many occupations today, we'd have to say comma, such as, and then we would have to say medicine, engineering, teaching, etc. So same function, but it's just used in a slightly different way grammatically. The US government has been spending its money recklessly for too long. Blank, the plans that Congress proposes are destined to put the nation at great economic risk in the future. Number five, as a result, yeah, good job. Six, I'm seeing your answers for six already. Getting a college degree is important. Blank, building a good network of friends is crucial. Yeah, even more importantly, we're not concluding anything here, right? Seven, I'm already seeing an answer for seven. Hawaii is a beautiful place to live. Blank, Siberia is a very inhospitable location. We're seeing two opposites, beautiful place versus inhospitable location. So we have on the contrary. All right. Oh, how many do we have? Ooh, we're going to 20. All right, let's speed it up. We're already going fast, but let's go even faster. These are too easy. Eating well will help you live a healthier life. Blank, exercising every day is also highly recommended. Yeah, definitely. Moreover, we're just adding to that previous idea. There's no consequence here. 9. Do you enjoy completing these grammar exercises? Blank, you should be able to improve your writing skills in no time. Yeah, we have consequence, and yeah, we have consequence because if you enjoy the exercises, then the consequence or the result is you're going to be able to improve your skills in no time. Welcome. I see Michaela and Rhonda and Alicia, some new persons in the chat. Not new, but perhaps just I'm just seeing your names for this session. All right, number 10. Without getting a college degree, it will be difficult to get a job. Blank, some will say it's not what you know, but who you know. Hey, Michaela. This one is, however, because we're seeing a contrast, right? We see one person or one set of people talking about the degrees, the way it's what you know. Another set is saying it's all about links and connection and networking. So we need that contrast, however. 11. The economy looks like it's improving. Blank, with unemployment still very high, we are far from passing through the recession. However, because we have opposites here, improving, but employment is still high, so it's going to be hard. Opposite ideas, so we need that particular type of connective. 12. Dr. Xavier gave his patients other forms of medical treatment. Blank, Dr. Magneto's patients only took sugar pills. As a result, Dr. Xavier's patients healed more quickly than Dr. Magneto's patients. X-Men references for those who didn't get it. Right. On the contrary, we see two very different types of medicinal approaches. So we need something that is showing contrast. In this case, on the contrary. 13. First, the author assumes that the two groups from these studies are the same group of people. Blank. Considering these kinds of studies are based on random sampling, the first group may not be the same people who responded in the second study. 13, we see that in the first sentence, someone is assuming that the groups are the same, but in the second sentence, we're seeing that they might not be the same. So we need something showing that contrast, which is however, right? 14, studies have proven that not only wine, but also a beer can be good for your health. Blank, only one drink a day will have helpful benefits. Beyond that, drinking will cause more problems. Robin Hood, see? You're going too fast now, Robin Hood. What do you mean 14? Rhonda, therefore, Alicia, therefore. What am I missing? Let me reread it. Studies have proven that not only wine, but also a beer can be good for your health. Blank, only one drink a day will have helpful benefits. How are you guys seeing therefore? It's however, contrast. Yeah, contrast. What is the contrast? Beer and wine can be good for your health. The contrast is if you drink too much, it's going to be bad for your health. So you should only drink a little bit. Even though it's good for your health, anything more than just one is bad for your health. So we see the contrast. Yeah? All right, 15. Getting a degree from law school is a great accomplishment. Blank. It does not guarantee that one will have a job after graduation. You better believe it. However, we again see that contrast. Getting the degree is great, but you not having a job after graduation. Yeah. 16. We're almost at the end of this activity. Moving from one country to another can result in culture shock. However, in addition, the language barrier that many immigrants face can lead to a long life of hardship. So let's look at the two ideas here. Moving from one country to another can result in culture shock. That's the first idea. Then we see that the language barrier can lead to a long life of hardship. So we're adding to the problems that you can face, right? Culture shock is one problem. We're adding another problem. So we need a transition that shows addition, such as in addition. All right, they're getting it, Rhonda? That's what I like to see. Good, good, good. 17. The author's assumption that men are inferior to women is severely lacking. More importantly, or however, she does not bring up a valid point that men are unable to give birth to babies. Oh, sorry. She does bring up a valid point. She does bring up a valid point. Okay, 17 is going to be, however, we're seeing a contrast here. What is the contrast? The person writing this sentence thinks that the writer is wrong to assume that that men are inferior to women. But we see that the person who writes this sentence is giving the author a little bit of credit. They're agreeing with one thing the author says, and so we need, however, to show that little bit of contrast. I disagree with most of what you say, but I agree with this one thing: contrast. And some good transitions that we could use here. Let me pause for a bit and show you some transitions that could work well for these kinds of sentences. Way up here, transitions to signal alternatives, exceptions, and objections. So something like admittedly, I concede, I grant, granted. Words like these are pretty good to use when you want to like disagree with someone for the most part, but agree with one thing they're saying. So that's a good kind of example of where you could use a transition like that. Okay, we're on to 18. We're almost at the end here. Lowering the national deficit would bring many positive benefits. Blank, banks would have more money to loan small business owners that could potentially stimulate the economy. All right, you guys are saying, for example, yeah, this is an example of one of the benefits. 19. A ceasefire between North and South Korea has been in effect for 50 years. Blank, without a peace treaty, the potential for another war is always there. Rhonda, are you sure? Are you sure, Rhonda? However, there's a contrast. We see that there's a ceasefire and there has been peace for a long time. And what is the contrasting idea? If there's no peace treaty, war is going to come at some point. Yeah. And last one here. He is blank a hard worker. Number 20. He is indeed a hard worker. And the indeed here is showing intensity or emphasis. All right, guys. Pretty good. I have many more exercises for you, many more opportunities to practice transitional words and phrases. Let's take a little breather. Let's take a breather. Take a little break. While we're taking a break, I'll ask you guys one question. What is the most difficult Ashley said we're good. Just answer one question. After this one question, we'll get back into it. What is the most difficult thing about English A for you guys? Is it reading, writing, comprehension, summary, story? Like what do you find difficult in English A? It's an important question because I'll take your feedback and I might implement or I might take into consideration some of these things for my upcoming live streams and videos. What are you guys struggling with? Elisa says summary. Summary. If you're struggling with paper two stuff, I mean, I have some paper two videos and stuff like that, but I also do CSEC classes. I do English A CSEC classes twice a week on Saturdays and Sundays. And I also do English B CSEC classes twice a week. So I do 16 CSEC classes every week. If you're struggling with paper two writing stuff, I would suggest you join my class. That's what I would honestly suggest. I mean, the YouTube videos are good and stuff, but yeah. If you're struggling with anything like paper two related, like those hardcore stuff, yeah. See? His classes are lit. Literally lit, right? Because I do literature as well, English B. So maybe an unintended pun there. What are the days of your classes? All right, let me just like real super hyper quick show you guys a little graphic that might help you to understand what I'm offering. So are you a teacher in Jamaica? I used to be. I used to be a teacher in Jamaica. I mean, I'm technically a teacher in the Caribbean since on YouTube, right? Does that count? Yeah, but I used to teach like in physical classrooms in Jamaica. Now I teach in Japan. Yeah, so this is what the little flyer looks like. Saturdays, and these times are all in Jamaica time. So if you're in Trinidad, Barbados, somewhere else, you would have to do a little bit of time conversion on your part. So it's Saturdays at 7 p.m., Sundays at 2 p.m. for English A, and Saturdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 3 p.m. for English B. And the fee here covers both English A and B, covers both Saturday and Sunday classes. So you basically get everything for one price. If you're doing just English A, or just English B, or both English A and English B, it's all the same. $20 a month, and you have everything, as well as access to learning materials like worked past papers, sample essays, and stuff like that. And you get all of the meeting recordings that that you would have missed, and not just the ones that you missed, but you get all of them. They're all recorded and saved, and you can access all of that stuff. So when it comes around the exam time, easier revision when you have the lessons that you can look back on. So yeah, take a screenshot of this, and you can just after the stream or whenever you're ready, you can send me a message. Let me know. Yeah. So let me get back to the stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we already know this. Let me skip over the examples and just get right to the task at hand.